Welcome back to the deep dive. Um, Today, we are looking at a stack of research that, honestly, well, it made me pause and look around my own kitchen with a lot of suspicion.
Oh, I bet. It has that effect on people.
Yeah, we are unpacking the VediConnect three-step healing program. And usually, when I see the phrase healing program, I immediately expect green juice and yoga
The
mats.
standard wellness cliches, right?
Exactly. But this is different. It's pitched as a fusion, like a collision,
Mm.
really, between ancient Ayurveda and hard-nosed modern science.
It's a completely fascinating bridge to cross because usually you have the herbalists on one side and the lab technicians on the other, and they rarely talk to each other.
They speak totally different languages.
They do, but this program, led by Manoj, attempts to merge those two worlds to solve a very specific problem, which is why we are all getting sick.
Right. And before we get into the how of it all, I really have to hit you with this statistic from the source material. It absolutely stopped me cold. According to the data we're looking at today, 96% of human beings are born perfectly healthy.
It's a staggering number when you really think about it.
It is. I mean, it implies we don't start out broken. Only about 4% of people have genetic disorders at birth. The rest of us, we start with a clean slate, a divine body, as the text calls it.
A divine body, yes. And that really sets up the central mystery of our deep dive today. If 96% of us are designed to be these, healthy self-healing machines, why are we seeing such a massive explosion in lifestyle disorders by the time we hit our 30s or 40s?
Yeah, diabetes, thyroid issues, arthritis.
Exactly, gut health issues. The argument here is that we aren't catching these diseases, we are drifting into them.
Drifting. That is such a good word for it. It's not a car crash. It's a slow leak. And the solution we're exploring today is about stopping that drift. But what I loved most was the mission statement behind this program. It's in Hindi.
Which roughly translates to decent life, decent departure.
That second part, decent departure, that really hit me.
Yeah.
Because we are so obsessed with anti-aging, right? Trying to live forever. But this feels way more grounded.
It's profound, honestly. Modern medicine is fantastic at extending life, keeping the heart beating, but often at the cost of the quality of that life.
Yeah, keeping you alive, but barely.
We've all seen it. Elderly relatives who are alive, sure, but incapacitated, dependent on a whole suitcase full of pills, unable to move freely. This mission statement argues that health isn't just about the sheer number of years, it's about dignity.
Dignity until the very end.
Exactly. It's about being self-sufficient until your very last day.
I think that's the goal for all of us, really. So how do we get back to that baseline? The research breaks this down into 3 distinct steps: a lifestyle reset, nature-synced nutrition, and then some really interesting, subtle biohacks.
And the order there is highly critical. You can't just biohack a body that is currently toxic. You have to follow the sequence.
Okay, so let's jump right into step 1, the lifestyle reset. The source material is pretty harsh on the modern world here. It basically says our environment is a trap.
He calls it the modern trap. And biologically speaking, it makes perfect sense. Our bodies haven't changed much in thousands of years, but our environment has changed radically in just the last 50.
We prioritize speed and comfort.
Speed, comfort, convenience. The sources point to things like the dramatic rise in C-section deliveries versus normal deliveries as a symptom of this whole mindset. We just instinctively choose the quick option.
And that choice trickles down to what's in our pantry. The program calls for a kitchen cleansing. Now, is this just the standard, throw out the cookies advice?
It goes a lot deeper than just counting calories or dumping sugar. It's a literal toxicity audit. The core philosophy here is that the body, specifically the blood and the gut microbiome, is constantly trying to heal you.
It wants to heal.
It desperately wants to. But if you are feeding it preservatives, additives, and what the texts call hidden stressors, the body spends all its energy neutralizing those threats instead of repairing itself.
So it's subtraction before addition.
Precisely. You have to untie the body's hands. The program advocates for shifting to premium groceries.
And by premium, we mean
Non-toxic, non-GMO, and specifically gut-friendly. It's not about starving yourself. It's about stopping the microdosing of stress that comes from chemically processed foods.
the microdosing stress.
Yeah.
Wow, that is a terrifying image, but I totally get it. If your body is fighting your lunch, it can't fight the arthritis in your knee.
Exactly. Once you remove that daily interference, the body's natural intelligence just wakes up.
Okay, so we've audited the kitchen. The toxic stuff is gone. Now we have to actually eat. Which brings us to step 2, nature-synced nutrition. And this section really fascinated me because it moves away from the Western obsession with macros, protein, carbs, fats, and moves toward this idea of alignment.
Right. It leans heavily on the Ayurvedic concept of VPK Prakriti.
BPK, Vata, Pitta, Kapha. For those listening who aren't steeped in Ayurveda, can we get the simple version of that?
Sure, think of it as your biological operating system. Vata is air and space, think movement, nervousness, creativity. Pitta is fire and water digestion, metabolism, intensity. And Kapha is earth and water structure, stability, but also lethargy.
So everyone has a mix of these.
Everyone has a unique mix, but usually one dominates. And the source material emphasizes that a food that acts as medicine for a high Pitta person might actually be poison for a high Kapha person.
Meaning there is no such thing as a universally healthy diet. Yeah. Kale isn't always good.
Exactly. Kale might be great for you, but if my vata is high, eating a bunch of raw kale might cause serious bloating and distress. It's all about context. But there's another concept here that I found even more critical than body type, and that is Virudahar.
Oh, right. Incompatible food combinations. I read the list in the notes, and I have to admit I'm guilty of about half of them.
Oh, most of us are. In the West, we think, well, fruit is healthy, yogurt is healthy, let's mix them together for breakfast.
The fruit yogurt parfait is basically the poster child of a healthy breakfast. Are you saying that's bad?
According to this protocol, yes. And here is the biological reason why. Fruit digests very quickly. Dairy digests very slowly. When you mix them, the fruit just sits in the stomach waiting for the dairy to break down.
Oh, no, yeah.
And because it's sitting there in a warm, moist environment, it literally starts to ferment.
Wow, that sounds awful.
It creates acidity and metabolic waste, which Ayurveda calls ama. You are essentially creating a traffic jam in your gut every single morning. The program stresses that digestion is actually more important than the food itself. If you can't digest it properly, even perfectly healthy food becomes a toxin.
That makes so much sense. So to support this new way of eating and help fix that digestion, VediConnect introduces specific supplements. And this is where that fusion of ancient and modern really shines for me.
It really is a hybrid approach. They use a very deliberate mix. On one hand, you have traditional herbal knowledge, and on the other, high-tech nutraceuticals. A big focus in the sources is on Atomy Hemohim.
I saw that name pop up a lot, Hemohim. It sounds very clinical.
It is. It's a patented complex developed to modulate the immune system. It's specifically designed to wake up the exhausted immune cells in the bone marrow. It's doing the heavy lifting for the blood.
And then speaking of heavy lifting, they also mentioned milk thistle.
Right, specifically for liver support. In this protocol, the liver is the main filter. If the filter is clogged, nothing else works. Milk thistle is one of the most researched herbs globally for liver regeneration.
They also specify algae omega-3. Now, usually when I hear omega-3, my brain goes straight to fish oil.
That's the standard, yes. But in a program focused on sattvic, or pure energy, fish doesn't always align. Algae omega-3 is 100% vegetarian. It's actually quite clever because they are going straight to the source. Where do the fish get their omega-3?
They eat the algae.
Exactly. So this just skips the middleman, or the middle fish, I guess.
That's a great way to put it. And finally, they mentioned the use of specific healing oils.
Yes, applied externally or consumed, depending on the practitioner's instruction. It's all about lubricating the internal system.
Now, I need to pause this right here because the source material has a very specific disclaimer in bold text, and we need to be responsible and share it with you all.
A hugely important one. This program is not a replacement for your doctor. The directive is very clear. Continue your doctor's treatment. You do not just throw away your blood pressure meds or your insulin on day one.
Right. You monitor. You keep records.
Exactly. As you fix the lifestyle and fix the diet, your lab reports, your BP, your sugar, your weight, they should naturally start to improve. Then you go to your doctor and say, look at my numbers, and let the physician lower the dosage. It's a partnership with modern medicine, not a rebellion against it.
I like that a lot. It's measurable and safe. Okay, so we've covered the theory. Clean the kitchen, align the food, take the support. But does it actually work? The sources provided some really heavy-hitting testimonials. And I want to start by talking about Baldev G.
Baldev G's story is, well, it's intense. He's a social worker, but his medical history reads like an absolute battleground.
Seriously. He had a liver operation in 2013. Then the side effects led to TB in 2016. Then severe arthritis in 2017. And if that wasn't enough, he shattered his hip.
He was entirely bedridden for a year and a half. Just imagine the psychological toll that takes on a person who is used to helping others. He had surgeries, spent time at AIMS, which is a top-tier medical institute. But his condition just wasn't improving to the level he needed. He was totally stuck.
And that's when he met VediConnect. He started the program, took the supplements. I'm assuming the milk thistle played a massive role here, given his liver history, alongside the hemohim.
Undoubtedly. And the result, he's out of bed, he's walking, he's back to serving as a social worker again. He explicitly mentions in his testimonial that even his doctors were surprised his condition improved so significantly, especially regarding how well his hip bone recovered.
From bedridden to active social worker.
And it's not just singular isolated cases. Look at Amrikji. The notes briefly mention his recovery as well. When you start seeing repeated patterns of recovery in people who have these complex multi-system issues, liver, bones, immunity, it strongly suggests the lifestyle reset is hitting a root cause, not just a symptom.
Then you have someone like Madan Ji or Madan Moon Singh. His struggle was different. He had IBS, irritable bowel syndrome.
Which, might not sound as dramatically life-threatening as a shattered hip, but anyone listening who has had chronic gut issues knows it absolutely ruins your life.
It totally drains your energy. Madan Ji described it as actively destroying his peace of mind.
That's that gut-brain connection we always hear about. A constantly inflamed gut leads to a constantly anxious mind. He tried everything, but nothing stuck. Then he started Manojji's personalized food plan, that step 2 alignment we talked about.
And the turnaround was really fast, wasn't it?
Very fast. Within a week, he noticed a significant improvement in his diet tolerance and his energy levels. He says IBS just no longer defines his life.
That is incredible. Then there's Tripti Ji. She had thyroiditis, which presented as a swelling or a lump near her collarbone.
This is a classic example of where standard modern medicine sometimes hits a brick wall. She was on antibiotics for weeks because they assumed it was infection-related, but the fever didn't go down and the lump didn't go away.
And she had known Manoj Ji for quite a while, right? 10 years.
Yes. She trusted his dedication to this revolutionary idea of a healthy lifestyle. She committed to the reset. Because it wasn't just about treating the lump, it was about treating the overall environment in the body that allowed the lump to form. And it resolved.
Finally, we have Navtesh Singh. This one resonated with me because I think a lot of people have that one nagging thing they've dealt with since childhood. For him, it was chronic seasonal sickness.
Right, getting fevers and colds every single time the season changed. He met Manoj Sir, and he started using the products. Navtesh says he found a completely new perspective on life. It wasn't just about not getting a cold anymore, it was about feeling fundamentally capable.
And for you listening, if you want to actually see these stories for yourself, Navtesh specifically mentioned there's a lot more to his journey. We're going to put the links to the other testimonial videos right in the description. You really have to see them and hear the emotion in their voices to fully get it.
It's highly recommended. It grounds the theory in reality.
So we've reset the lifestyle, we've aligned the food. Now we finally arrive at step 3, the subtle biohacks, which sounds a little sci-fi, but it's actually very ancient.
It is. This step deals heavily with invisible energy. The absolute core of it is conscious breathwork, or pranayama.
Now, the source material had a really stark warning here that caught my eye. It said, right breathwork fuels life, wrong breathwork drains it.
Biologically, it holds water. Breathing is essentially the remote control for your autonomic nervous system. If you breathe rapidly and shallowly, which, let's face it, most stressed people do, you are signaling danger to your body 24/7. You are just flooding your system with cortisol.
So wrong breathwork isn't necessarily some complex ritual gone bad. It's just bad daily habits.
Exactly. Or it's trying advanced breathing techniques without proper guidance. If you force the breath against the body's natural rhythm, you create internal stress. The goal of the VediConnect program is to use conscious breath to manually switch the body from fight or flight over to rest and digest, because that is the only physiological state in which the body can actually heal.
It's like tuning an engine. If the timing belt is off by a fraction, the whole car shakes.
That's a perfect analogy. And alongside breath work, they also bring up grounding and water energy.
Grounding. Is that the whole thing about walking barefoot in the grass?
It is. It's also called earthing. We are bioelectrical beings. Our cells literally communicate using electricity. The earth itself has a slight negative charge. When you physically touch the earth, grass, sand, dirt, you absorb free electrons that act as natural antioxidants inside the body. It actively lowers inflammation. But in the modern world, we spend our entire lives in rubber-soled shoes, completely insulated from that charge.
So we are literally physically disconnected from our environment.
We are ungrounded. Reconnecting helps realign that biological rhythm.
And what about water energy?
This refers to how we treat hydration. In this protocol, water isn't just a liquid you swallow, how it's stored, often in copper or clay vessels in these traditions, and even the intention behind it changes how the cells absorb it. It's about structured, mindful hydration, not just chugging from a plastic bottle while you're running to catch a train.
It all brings us right back to that central idea of syncing. Syncing with the earth, syncing with your breath, syncing with your food.
It completes the circle. Think of it like this. Step 1 removes the interference, the toxins. Step 2 provides the correct fuel, the nutrition. And Step 3 optimizes the engine itself, the energy and the breath.
And when you put all of that together, you get back to the self-healing body you were born with.
That's the big aha moment of this whole program. We aren't trying to build a brand new body. We're simply trying to remember the one we already have. The blood has these amazing self-healing properties, scientifically lab-proven properties, but we just block them with our modern choices.
It really is a powerful mission. It's not just about adding years to your life, it's about adding life to your years.
And doing it with total dignity. That's the absolute key takeaway for me. Health is the vehicle for dignity.
So here is our final thought for you to carry deeply into your day. We know the body is constantly trying to repair itself every second of every single day.
It's fighting for you right now as you listen to this.
So the question isn't, how do I heal? The real question you need to ask yourself is, what is the one thing in your kitchen or in your daily routine right now today that is standing in the way of your own biology?
Identifying that one thing might just be the very first step back to your own divine body.
Thanks for diving deep with us today. We'll see you next time.
Stay healthy, everyone.